Welcome, everyone. I know you guys are super excited about who's going to walk away with all the coveted medals. But before that, I'm also sure many of you would like to understand the very topic that we're talking about, the certainty of uncertainty. And this is the best topic to wrap up, in December. So it will give you something to think about when you start the next year. And I have with me somebody who can dissect the topic perfectly. This is Geetanjali. Geetanjali, I would request you to just say a couple of sentences about yourself so that the audience knows who we are having a conversation with.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vinita. Um, I do not think that I am the only one who can dissect. There are visionaries out here who can do it better, but I will definitely attempt what I have learned in the last almost about 20 years of experience. I'm somebody who was very fascinated with activations, with advertising, and that's really drew me to reach where I am right now. I started with activation agencies, I've dabbled with media, I've been part of radio, I've been part of print, I have been part of e-commerce at a time when Flipkart and Amazon were not even present in India, and this is 2009 with Mr. Kishore Bayani, who was really big back then. I mean, we all remember the heydays of Future Group, what it used to be. Moving on, and this is entirely by chance, not by design, I've been with insurance since 2012. It's been very interesting. It is not as boring as one would imagine. It is extremely consumer-centric, insight-driven, and that has made me stick to where I am right now.
Thank you. And the whole idea of this panel discussion is to bring clarity to chaos. And if there's one certainty that all of us are dealing with today, it is the fact that chaos is here. Our idea is to talk about the critical trends that are there from a CMO's lens. We'll also look at the bifurcation of the middle class. The whole definition of the middle class is also something that has become very complex and complicated. We'll also try to understand about the Creator Investment Conundrum. The reason being that most of the brands are currently chasing how to ensure sustained brand relevance. So I'm not going to take more airtime. I'm just going to dive in straight for the question. Let's start with the middle class. The middle class has literally become a middling conundrum, right? And the definition is also getting revisited every single time with the aspirations of the consumers growing. So if I were to ask you to deconstruct the middle class myth, which is the biggest bulge in the Indian economy, how would you do that?
So I think there was a time until about a decade ago, not too long ago, that customer segmentation, whatever that we did, that exercise we did not have to really go back to for 3-5 years. Now, with the change and level of awareness that has increased, and I'm talking entire country right now, my flavor with tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 has been extremely recent because we've got a new shareholder on board, which is present across even places like Etawah, Bhadrak, Balasore, which I hadn't honestly heard of in the kind of work that I do. That said, the level of awareness, even in these cities, because of digital penetration, has been extensive. With that, the awareness, with that, the desirability, and as a consumer with access to money, stock market is another avenue that everybody is dabbling with. So there are multiple reasons why the definitions have also become lucid right now. Who is my middle class? Is this person only as part of the sandwich generation looking after the parents and looking after the children and not looking after themselves? No, that's not the person that we are going after anymore. This sole bread earner of the family also has a partner who's equally ambitious, motivated. The avenues of earning and earning potential in these cities have also increased in tier 2, tier 3, which has led to better lifestyles that the entire segment now desires. And of course, FOMO, Instagram, everything else has also led to ensuring that we plan vacations and everybody is talking domestic couple of times a year, thanks to soaring prices and again, awareness that how Goa is more expensive than a travel to Phuket. That's why you see the surge in even Southeast Asia. So as various industries ourselves, we are bearing the fruits of how India is really shining.
So you're right, Geetanjali, till a couple of years ago, or maybe a few years ago, there was a certain cohort definition that used to be there. But now most of the advertising brands and agencies are realizing that they cannot have a one-size-fits-all kind of an approach, especially with the affordability tension that you spoke about. the very person who sits within that segment could be, a DINK, double income, no kids kind of a person. It could be somebody, like you said, in Balasore, who is sitting with parents over there, but has aspirations. Now, looking at that, how is that, brands can leverage the emotional and the ideological connections? Because the gap between consumer wants and affordability, it's like an amoeba, it's constantly shifting.
Absolutely. So people can really afford most of the things that were once out of reach. Along with DINKs, I'll add another acronym that in fact, I also qualify as one, is a DINK quad, double income, no kids with a dog. And that is another new industry that has picked up significantly across, and then that's topic for another day, how we as pet parents and not pet owners really want to splurge there as well. So with the gap, of course, reducing time and again, I think as brands, and I'm sorry to bring up COVID here, COVID also shrunk the gap between go-to-market, what we had at one point of time. We as campaigners, marketeers, agency partners, we used to release what, 1, 2, 3 campaigns a year. I don't think anybody can afford to be in that space anymore. We have to continue to provide that content bank, because much like the affordability gap and the plethora of options that we have around us, the attention span is also decreased as much. I mean, there was a time we used to not boast, but at least had accepted that it was 3 seconds for an outdoor. The amount, and there was a report by Mint or somebody, I think just yesterday, an average consumer, and doom scrolling is something that even I would assume about 70% in this room, we all are guilty to spending hours before we sleep and giving up on our sleep, doom scrolling. We consume on an average about 600 to 700 content pieces a day, which essentially is not more than a second and a half to a content. So that's the kind of time we have to grab that attention, to be relevant, resonate, and at the same time, continue to build on frequency so that the impact is also not compromised in any sense.
So you mentioned about COVID, and I'm sure there are a lot of pet parents over here. And COVID also gave rise to another phenomena, which is the creator/influencer/content creators. And majority of the people over here would be working in some capacity or the other when it comes to this particular sector. However, as per one of the records that I have, data shows that 45% of creator ad spend is wasted annually, which is a big drain. So if I were to ask you, seated where you are, like you said, you now have a JV where you have a storied brand which has been around for centuries, which is tied up with a mass brand like Central Bank of India. So if you have these kind of brands, how would you, as an organization, implement a playbook for the coming year, which should kind of at least give some kind of guaranteed ROI, when it comes to measurement, creative best practices, or is it just a utopian thought?
So I will give some comfort in the room. Nothing is wasted. Let me, as somebody who manages the kind of budget that I do, I assure you, and these are boardroom conversations anyway, which are uncomfortable conversations, but nothing ever gets wasted. It's about how you tackle it. One fact that we must accept, that advertising is brand building. It is not equal to your R&R campaign, which is going to give you results of ROI, especially the very next day. One has to invest in brands to get to where they are. I mean, and which is the reason why, even as mind games that we play recognize the logo, we are able to ourselves as consumers be able to recognize these logos because they have invested in building those kind of brands. Since Creator is something that we're discussing specifically, Creator by itself alone cannot really take the mantle ahead. It has to be complemented seamlessly with your performance marketing, with remarketing, with programmatic, what have you, and seeing enough and more all the brand nuances through omni-channel. Today's consumer has access to multiple media platforms. I am dabbling on LinkedIn. I'm dabbling on Instagram, if these are the 2 social media platforms that have emerged. I am driving on the road and spending at least about 3 hours. So I need my outdoor. I am on connected TV, so it's not just about linear TV anymore. And guess what? Even Amazon has realized the potential and has monetized the platform, right? And I'm sure many people in this room for the last 2, 3 months have been extremely bugged, looking forward to that paid version of Amazon as well. Because all of us want to reach where the consumer is. And again, because the consumer is being thrown with so many options, a creator alone cannot do the heavy lifting. Also, a creator is a storyteller. We must respect the profession that has emerged. A storyteller will only, again, take your brand forward, build awareness, but not be able to get you the ROI, which your other direct campaigns will be able to. That's the purpose that a D2C does.
So if I were to ask you to do some crystal ball gazing, what are the 3 trends that you think will really either carry forward 2025 into the coming year, or some new ones that can probably emerge in the coming year?
So, if you would have asked me 1 year ago, we would have done some guesswork and not landed where we are, the way the world is changing. But I think, unlike Metaverse, which came and went, AI is here to stay. That definitely is there. How we utilize it to the best potential, agentic has come a long way. That has worked well for us as brands as well, but I think it's very important that we bring it as close as possible to human intelligence. We as brands will also reduce the dependency on technology as much as we have. I think there is over-dependence. We need to realize that there are multiple segments coming and emerging, and again, people who can afford. They can put money on the table, but they not be as technology savvy. So all the DIY tools and access everything on an app is meant for a certain percentage of the population, which is no more than a single or moving to double digits. Your majority, 80%, is still somebody who wants that human interface, and I think as brands, we also will somewhere realize that. That's 2. I think creator will, the way that it's now come up, and we're seeing the likes of, I didn't want to take names, but the likes of Kusha Kapala and even Apurva, these guys have become from creators to now celebrities. They're getting shows of their own, and they are out there getting the kind of face time that we would have never imagined. With them, the plethora of Gen Zs that are also coming in the workforce, I think it's going to only become stronger and stronger.
Okay, that's a lot to pack in. So if I were to ask you to suggest, what is your suggestion or recommendation to this room of august people who can set creativity ablaze for the coming year? What would that one sentence recommendation be?
We are partners. Agency and client, I don't think there is any such thing. There is always only one team. We all have to respect each other. ROI is important, and so is creativity. I think if we go hand in hand, we will have many more. The count I heard was 30 plus. This will definitely double up if we understand each other's concerns.
All right. Thank you, Geetanjali. That was really nice.
Thank you, Vinita.
Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lovely audience.
Thank you. Can we have it a little louder, please? I know it's fag end of the day and all. That's more like it.